If you were to pick up a cube and do an F2, how would you do it? Most people would do it like this. Regrip and basically do a U2 but from this grip. Some people situationally might do this, which is kind of like a D2 flick, or if you want to be better, you can do pinky ring, which I'm not that good at. But what if you had to do it from home grip? Now, F2 is such an uncommon move that not many people even use it in their solos, and even if they do, most people won't know how to do it from home grip, because it is very weird. This is very awkward, and I don't think many people would like to do this. Today I'm going to teach you how to do F2 from home grip. Just a disclaimer, I only know 3 good applications of this finger trick. I'd say this finger trick is very optional and it's not compulsory. Alright, so I'm going to start off with this F2L case. Now, if you learn how to solve this case with the special F2 trick that I will teach, then you can really understand how it works. So basically how to do it is, most people would rotate and solve it like this. But there's this thing called F2 to an F prime, and I have a video over there explaining what it is. And you can solve this case in 5 moves. How to do it is you basically start off with an F move, and then you do a sledgehammer, and then you do an F prime. So once again, we'll do an F, sledgehammer, and an F prime. And you've probably noticed that the last move of the sledgehammer can cancel with the F prime. So let's go over how to finger trick the first part of this algorithm. Now, usually I'd say the best start would be this, with a thumb move with your right hand. If you don't know how to do this, just learn it. It's really beneficial. So go like this, and then just do a flick. And then what would you do from here? Now, it's actually 2 different options to do the F prime, and it's either like this or like this. I prefer to go like this. And then we have another F prime right here. Now, if you look very closely, I've actually just taught you it. Basically, what you do is when you get to this part, you do an F2 with this and this. It's basically a double move, so you do the F2 with your left index and your right thumb. The whole trick is basically this. Just left index and right thumb. And if you prefer to do thumb for the sledgehammer, then it could look like this. Although I can't really do this one as well. That's how to finger trick it. You basically do 2 F primes, and that makes the F2. And technically it is F2 prime because you're moving this layer twice anti-clockwise, but it's the same thing as doing F2. Here's another application. It's for this F2L case, the green-red, and we're solving it into this slot. Before I found this case to be very annoying, and I would usually like to avoid the rotation, and you can in this case because this edge is oriented, although I'd solve it like that because I didn't really want to rotate, although that's really bad. Until I found out you can do this. 4 moves. R prime F2, R F2. Now I thought that trick was really cool, but there was a problem. You had to regrip. Until I discovered how to do the F2, the one I showed you in this video. So we can do R prime, we can do the first F2 pretty easily. But after we do this R, we're going to do our F2 like that. And faster it looks like this. Finally, we have this ZBLO. It's a UOLO and a block that has this right edge solved. And a lot of people know this one. You basically hold it from here and you do basically an F move. And then you can do a Y perm. And then you can just undo the F prime that you did at the start. As you can see, we actually started the algorithm with an F2 because when we do the first move F and the first move of the Y perm, which is another F, they can cancel into just F2. And then once we get to the end, the final move of the Y perm is F prime. And then to undo the setup move, we do another F prime. So the end is also an F2. So we can use our finger trick because we start and end the algorithm with F2. So we have to do them in home grip. So we have to pay attention into which order we do the F primes, because we can either start with our thumb or our index finger. But after this F2, we've got a U prime coming up with the left index. That means out of the two options, we can do them in either order. We don't want to end with the index, because if we do the thumb first, we're going to overwork here. So if you want to do this correctly, then you have to start with your index and then thumb, and then there's no overwork here. And then here you can just do them in any order, because the move before it is with your right index and using these two fingers, not this one. So faster it looks like this. I'll say it again, this is not a necessary finger trick. It's quite fancy, to be honest. And to be honest, you don't have to use it in that ZBLL. It's honestly kind of hard to do this and then transition into this part of the algorithm, because you can kind of hit your thumb here. That will cause you to do a different type of special finger trick, which is a thumb U prime. You can watch this video if you want more on that. And obviously you can use these if you want in some of the mirror algorithm. It's basically the one where you do an F setup into a sledge. I can't really do this one. I can do it for this one though, where you have this F2 case, and you can just basically do wide R U to wide R prime if you're like right-handed and you don't want to do this. And then you can do thumb index. If you can think of more applications for this F2 finger trick, then let me know in the comments, because I'd really like to know. Also, I'm aware that some of you have seen this before, but I know a lot of my viewers haven't seen it, and that's why I wanted to show it here. Alright, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully you learned something new if you didn't already know this F2 finger trick. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.